In order to Mass Effect, nope. In order to 100% Mass Effect 2, we're going to get 48 achievements, complete the game on Insanity mode in one single run, as well as gain all 12 compatriots, all 12 companions, and gain their loyalties as well. So, let's address the elephant in the room. I'm standing up when filming this. I'm trying something new for this type of video because I don't normally do this and I thought it'd be fun. So, now that we've addressed that, there's nothing else to talk about, so let's just get into the video. On day 1 of the Mass Effect 2 video, we start up loading up a new game and importing our old character from Mass Effect 1, as this will be important in getting the achievement for playing all 3 games with the same character. So we load up playing on Insanity difficulty so we don't have to do another run later like we did with Mass Effect 1. I'm trying to keep this playthrough as one single run, no need to do another one. Doing everything in my possible power to make sure I do not have to play this game a second time. Once loading up, the game does give you a quick recap of the choices you made during the first game. It gives you stuff like your name, your rank, your level, your Paragon status, who died on Virmire, Ashley Arcaden, who did Rex survive Virmire, and whether or not you chose to save or kill the Citadel. We, of course, chose to kill them, so surely this won't come back to haunt us later. We're then met with a cutscene between 2 people, one named Miranda and the other one known as the Elusive Man. We find out that they know about everything that's happening with the Reapers and the Geth and our crew. We also find out that they work for Cerberus, a group that we partially dealt with in the first game, but not too much from what I remember. We're then met with a nice little cutscene, dialogue, screen, whatever you want to call it, explaining what's been going on since the events of the first game. It's been 2 months, the Citadel is busy cleaning up, and as far as the public know, we are just going out looking for any Geth, but secretly to everybody else, we are actually looking for any remnants of the Reapers so we can take them out, as they are the big threat that is looming over everyone's heads. We then get a nice familiar reunion with the crew of the Normandy, doing their daily business, flying through space, looking for any Reaper activity. In this system that we are in, it's been people going missing. There have been different colonies just going dark, and we're here to investigate because that could be our target. See why are they doing this? But as we are swiftly flying through space, this cutscene is cut short due to an unidentified vehicle attacking us and critically damaging the Normandy. We're then met with seeing Liara running throughout the ship, and this character actually will change depending on if you romanced her, Caden, or Ashley in the first game. If you chose none of them, it's whoever you chose to save on Virmire from the bomb situation. Liara, being the good Samaritan that is, she's trying to get us out of here as well, but we tell her you need to leave and you need to get as many people out of here as you can. That is in order. We will handle Joker, as he is sitting in the cockpit trying to save the ship as best he can because he loves the Normandy and it is his baby. We get up there and we catch up with him, and we pretty much force him to get out of the ship because it is in pieces, in shambles, and there is nothing left to salvage of this ship. So we throw him in an escape pod, and as we're about to get in, explosions occur and we get jettisoned backwards. We are able to eject the pod safely, so Joker is sent free and he is fine. However, Shepard's suit is damaged in the explosion, causing him to crash and crash into the planet that is nearby. So game's over. Mass Effect 2 is done. We did it. It was that simple. It only took like 10 minutes to beat the game. 100% it, we're done. That's the end of the video. I don't know why you're still watching. There's nothing else gonna happen. Title card. We're then met with a nice little feature that added in with DLC. We are then met with something that added in via DLC. It's a little interactive comic book story for people who didn't play the first game or didn't import any save data from the first game. But otherwise, it tells you pretty much exactly the storyline of the first game while still skipping out on a couple parts like Pharaohs for some reason. I felt like that was kind of really important, but I guess not. Afterwards, we are given the option to adjust how our character looks, which they give you this option, I believe, in every game, but I'm not actually sure about 3. We should have, though, adjusted our character because in the moment he looked fine. The facial features looked fine, right? This guy looks fine, right? Wrong. In certain lightings, for some reason, he doesn't have any facial hair. He doesn't have any eyebrows. Where'd they go? We wake up in a facility for the first time with Miranda over us again and another man named Wilson. We are in a panic as we have no idea what's happening, so they quickly put us back under after multiple doses of whatever they used to put us back under. We shortly wake back up with the base under attack and Miranda speaking to us over the speakers, telling us to go grab the gun and find some ammo, which is something they added in this game. Ammo. First game, there was no ammo. It was simply, don't shoot for too long or your gun overheats. This game has ammo, and this will 110% come back to bite us in the ass. We begin to fight our way through the facility, learning the basic mechanics of the game, like cover fire and aiming and using abilities. Eventually, we run into Jacob, a human, a former Alliance member turned Cerberus operative. Fills us in on a bit of the information of what's going on, where we are, who he is, and what is all going on. We also notice that the game gives you a nice little pop-up of whenever you make progress on certain achievements. For example, headshots or making enemies scream as they fall or burn. So that is actually a very useful feature, so that I know where I'm at with certain abilities, different codex entries, and all that good stuff. I really like that. I really like that addition to the game, but I know some people for some reason don't. As we continue into the game, we meet up with Wilson again. He is currently injured, and we meet another new mechanic that the game added. It's similar to the last game with Metagel being the healative property of the game, but we can no longer heal ourselves, and we no longer have an ability that revives our teammates. We have the Metagel, and that acts like the Unity ability from the first game, where once you use it, you have to wait for it to cool down, and it uses it per person. So if you have 2 teammates down and you use it, you're using up 2 of your Metagel, which comes back to haunt us later. I quickly make the assumption that Wilson is not to be trusted, as I don't really remember him in this game, and I don't remember him being a part of like the overall crew on the Normandy. With Jacob, I do remember, because he's very distinct to me. I don't really know why, but I definitely remember Jacob. I figure we have another Jenkins on our case where he joins our party and he's eventually going to leave the party. So Jacob, Wilson, and I continue to head on, and he doesn't seem to help his case with me not trusting him, as he wants to constantly just leave and not to worry about Miranda. Miranda, she's dead. At this point, there's no way she could be alive. She has to be dead. There's mechs everywhere here. She can't be alive. But we show up to an elevator, and guess who's there? Miranda! And she's not happy. She shoots him right in the chest, and she shoots him dead. No hesitation. So we were right. It was his fault. He was the reason why the station is currently under attack, and all the mechs have gone out of control. So we grab up Miranda, ask a few more dialogue questions, and get the fuck out of here. At this new location, we meet up with the elusive man, who fills us in with some of the things that are happening, what happened with me, and other such things. We learn that it's been 2 years since the incident in space when I died. So, what? It's been 2 years? We learned that it's been 2 years since I have been, unfortunately, exploded. But we're back, and we are then sent to a human colony that was recently attacked and abducted. While we're there, we meet up with our friendly neighborhood Tali. She's back. Our girl Tali's back. I make a bold assumption here that she's gonna be my love interest in this game. I don't know why I did that, because I wasn't planning on it. I guess I didn't know that Liara was technically available for romancing, but also not technically available for romancing. You romance her in this game, and you can continue it in 3. But we'll get into that towards the end of the game. We learned that Tali and some of her fellow Quarians, which, by the way, we have not met a single other Quarian until now. We knew Tali, and that was it. I don't believe in Mass Effect 1 we met a single other Quarian in the game. So that was fun to find more of her people. We learned they're here because one of the Quarians was on this colony while he was doing his pilgrimage, because he likes to help out small groups of people, but for some reason he wasn't abducted with the rest of the humans that were on this planet. We learned that there's some beef between the Quarians and Cerberus, as they have some long history that we'll get into later. We burst through some more enemies, kill some more guys, and we met with our first big enemy of the game. Not a boss, but like more of a mini boss. And we also introduced to another type of shield. We had shields in the first game, but we're met with one of the new types of shields. We have, the mech has armor. It has a layer of armor and then a layer of health. The other type of this is bearers, but we will get into that later. After defeating the mech, we meet up with Vita, the Aquarian, who is still here. He is shaky and nervous and all types of different types of scared. So we calm him down and we find out what happened. So essentially, they just, these beings called collectors showed up and they are abducting humans. And it was like nothing, there was nothing they could do. They had these swarm of bug-like creatures that seemed to only target the humans, not targeting the Aquarian at all. So we quickly make do with that and decide, okay, well, all right, that's interesting news. We're then met with one of the first main real decisions that we have to make in this game is, do we take Vitor with us for questioning at Cerberus, or do we give him to Tali and take his Omnitools information? And since Tali was with us for the entire first game, we're not just going to betray her trust like this right now, so we give her companion. We're not just going to take him. He's been through a lot. I don't want him to have to deal with more stuff like that. Afterwards, we head back up to meet with the elusive man. He tells us he was suspicious that it was the collectors, but had no real evidence until now. He gives us some more information on where our crewmates were through these past 2 years, and that he gives us a list of new people to go find. He gives us a couple dossiers of people to go recruit for our mission. First of which, he suggests we go find Morden Solace, a Solarian scientist who happened to work on the Genophage all that time ago, as well as being a special trainee of the military. Then he tells us he has a good pilot for us, the one that he thinks will very much be able to trust. As we get out of this weird hologram meeting with him, look who it is. It's our boy Joker. He's back and he's so excited to see us. We go and look at the new ship and oh, it's a beaut. We decide to name it Normandy. Big surprise. So we get back on the ship, we start roaming around. I'm looking for codex entries because thankfully this game is not nearly as bad as the first game with the codex entries, as you only need to get 15 new codex entries into your device. So you don't need to get every single thing about the aliens and possibly miss one, because the game wants to screw you and make you get a dialogue option that you could very easily miss, even though you have a Prothean fucking investigator on your team the entire game, and you go to one of the bases and talk to one of the VIs, but that doesn't matter because why would it? But anyways, so we go around the ship, get some side missions from our crewmates, and we actually meet up with another familiar face, Dr. Chakwas. She's back and she's with us this time again. So we have a nice little side mission with her, and we then decide to head to our first choice. This is the first place we get to go to, and it's because our good friend Ambassador, no, sorry. Because our good friend Captain Anderson, who is now the lead head person of the council, asks us to meet with him at the Citadel. As we re-land on the Citadel, we're met unintentionally with one of our new crewmates, one that I actually did not have any knowledge on because she was DLC. I don't think I ever played her or did the DLC when I first played this game. I don't think it existed when I played the game. So we get Kasumi, she joins our crew, and we gain her loyalty mission. We then continue on, we meet with CSEC Captain Bailey, and he tells us that we're still technically dead. And we can leave it like that. We can leave it like the system saying we're dead. I don't think this has any major implications, but I was like, cool. We're dead. No one needs to know we're not dead until we make a name for ourselves again. I decide, instead of going straight to meeting with Captain Anderson, or I guess Ambassador Anderson, I don't know what it's called now, I don't remember. We decide to run around, we find some shops, and we have a lot of fun bullying the shopkeepers. We do a lot of the renegade options and bully them essentially into giving us discounted prices, and I was just having a ball doing it. I don't remember if this was in the first game, but you can go up to certain bars and order drinks. So I proceed to order a drink, until the bartender's like, I got something really strong. So we take it and we pass out. As far as I know, there's no negative effects to this, but whatever, we did it and it was funny. I know you can get drunk and walk around and your camera kind of just wobbles as you walk, which is funny. But other than that, we wake back up and we actually run into the reporter from the first game. We choose more of the renegade options because I'm feeling very angsty in this run. I'm feeling like making my shepherd a very angsty guy for now. We do eventually meet back up with Anderson, and he tells us he's not super thrilled about being the head of the council. He doesn't really like doing all the politics, and nobody really still listens to him, but he's dealing with it and he's fine, so no worries with there. So we head back to the ship, and we do a couple more side missions. We found that Burgundy. Nope, that's not what she was looking for. We found the alcohol that Dr. Chakwas was looking for, and we go and share a drink with her, finishing the stream for the day. Today we earned a solid 3 achievements. On day 9, we quickly started with some technical issues, and then after we got past all that, we decided to go into our first loyalty mission game for Kasumi. We landed on the planet Beckenstein, and before we really got into much, we had to allocate her stat points, because now whenever you load into a planet, you allocate stat points for the characters if they have any, every time, yourself included, as well as the equipment you're gonna have. We then met with a cutscene where Kasumi explains to us what the plan is for this heist, and that our name is Solomon Gunn. That is our undercover name for now. That is what we will be going with. As we land, we are quickly met with our target of the heist, Hawk. The goal is to break into his vault because he has stolen Kasumi's old dear teammate's gray box, which is something that has a lot of information tied to it that can jeopardize both of their safeties, even though he's already dead, but it jeopardizes mainly her safety. So Kasumi is let in because Hawk doesn't like the way she looks, which that's mainly probably for a good reason. So we tell him, okay, she can stay outside, no worries, but that really doesn't stop her, as she just goes invisible anyway and comes with us. And funny enough, her textures never load back in properly when she gets back on to being visible. Her textures never load back in for her uniform, her outfit, whatever you want to call it. So we make our way to the vault, and we find out it has 3 security systems. It has a voice activated lock, a DNA sequence, and then a kinetic barrier. So we need to go and disable all 3 of those things. So right after this, we go and talk to Hawk a bit, because we gotta get him talking a bunch so that Kasumi can get her enough of a sample to simulate his voice during this meeting. So we get him talking, he's going, he's getting a speech going. He's got people clapping for him at the end of it, which, okay, sure. But then after that, we walk around a bit. We found a path that said sneak beyond barrier or something like that. So we do that. Turns out that's where the guards are, and that's actually where we need to go to get into his private quarters to get a DNA sample. So after dealing with the guards, we make past them. We get into the room, start investigating different things, and eventually we find an alarm clock, which when activated, activates guards, and then I have to go deal with them. Afterwards, we go and find the last thing we need to turn off the kinetic barrier, which is a power box further down, hidden behind some bookshelves. So we turn it off, we go back down, we loop back up, and we get into the vault. After entering the vault, we go around looking at the numerous things that he has. A lot of things are relevant to the story of Mass Effect in terms of what they have. Like, there was like a Krogan statue and some other things. But he has some he has some Earth-related things. He's got the Statue of Liberty's head. I don't know how he got that in here. He's got the Statue of David, plus what looks to be like an Egyptian pyramid type Sphinx thing, which is interesting. I don't know how, it looks very small in the game, so it might be like a replica or something. Who knows? Eventually, after we're done looking through everything, we go to the gray box, which is where we need to be here, and surprise, surprise, it's a trap. Now Hawk is sending his guards at us, so we have to take them out one by one, and it's not that difficult. It still gives me a little bit of a challenge, as it's still the beginning of the game for me. I barely have any upgrades into my character, I barely have any upgrades to my weaponry and my devices. After making our way through multiple different rooms with multiple different enemies, we make it to the landing pad where our shuttle will be meeting us after we have successfully killed Hawk in his goddamn gunship. Like, what are we supposed to do with this? He's got a goddamn gunship, but we take it out. Kasumi does a really badass like flip thing. I was like, whoa, I didn't know she was built like that, but she does a really cool thing, and it was pretty cool. After that, we leave, and we have successfully gained Kasumi's loyalty. Once we get back onto the Normandy, Kasumi goes and investigates through the gray box that we just recovered. Turns out that her old companion tied a lot of the memories and secrets to his memory as well as hers. So in order to keep them secret, they have to destroy the gray box. We know that's what he wants, so that's what we do. Since Kasumi really can't do it herself, we do it for her, and then we're done. We then make our way to the Omega system and land on Omega itself. We're here to gain 2 new allies. We have 2 new allies here, one of which we know is Morden, the other one is known as the Archangel. After we land on the planet, we go into Morden. Here's our first one. We find out there's been a plague that's been dispersed in the residential area where it doesn't affect humans, but it affects like all the other races that are there. So, of course, they're all mad, and Morden is there setting up a base camp trying to work on a cure. We also have a bunch of thugs and grunts and mercenaries there, attempting to salvage anything they can find, because that, of course they would do that. Why would they not? We do find our wounded Batarian, and we help him up. He is very hesitant at first to trust us, as we are humans, and they believe that we are the reason this plague is going on. And we eventually help him, and he's like, oh, thank you. So we leave him. We eventually do find Morden, and he won't leave until his cure, which he has just conveniently finished, is dispersed into the ventilation system, which just so happens to cover all of the residential area. After meeting back up with Morden, after successfully starting the ventilation system with his cure, everybody is good now. Morden's like, okay, I'll come with you. He leaves his assistant to run the clinic here so that people can still get help if they need it. We then also, I forgot to mention this before, we happen to run in Zaid as we're here. As we're popping up, he shows up. He's one of our other DLC members that I never seen before. So we get him, he joins the crew. We also unlock his loyalty mission as well. After the Morden mission, we are put back onto the Normandy, so we have to go back down to Omega itself, and we go talk to Arya. She's an Asari, sort of like, not gang leader, but she's pretty much like the head honcho on this like area. Everybody kind of talks to her, reports to her. She knows what's going on. After speaking with her, we find out that a bunch of different mercenary groups are all deciding to work together to take out the Archangel, as he is currently messing up all of their plans by killing them individually. He's a lone wolf, essentially, taking out mercenaries as he sees fits. So eventually we make our way to him, sabotaging different enemies as we go, because they think we're working. After we eventually get up to him, we find out it's our good pal Garrus. He's still alive and kicking, doing his own thing, just killing mercenaries as he goes. We then start working on mercenaries. These start coming individually instead of one, like all together. They come each group by group, which, I mean, if you're gonna try to take out this guy who's been killing you guys all day across this bridge, you might want to send more than a handful of people from one individual group at a time. So we take them out, then we have to eventually head downstairs because they're coming in from another entrance. So we go, we shut those doors, and then we're good. Except we're not. We have another batch of the last wave of enemies come in, and they are not too happy. One of them has another gunship, where these things are just everywhere apparently, so I don't know where everyone keeps getting them, but they do. We quickly defeat it, but not without one slight issue. Garrus gets shot, and it looks like he's not gonna make it. It sucks because he was really cool. I liked Garrus, which is like, that's the whole point we came here. I miss my boy Garrus from the first game. Really sucks that we're not gonna get him. Just kidding. He's fine. He took a bunch of shots. The doctors did what they could, and he's fine. He just looks really scarred up in the face now, but he is perfectly fine. We finish off the day with talking around the ship and checking in with our crewmates, and we end the stream for the day. Today we earned a whopping 10 achievements. You can't see my other hand because it's currently holding a microphone.
Hello. I may be dying, but that's not gonna stop me. Cool. On day 10, we load back up, go to Omega again, because we're gonna go tell Arya that someone's trying to put a hit on her. She's not too thrilled about that, but it's fine, and that is literally the only reason we come back to this planet. Whoops, I thought there was more to do. So, anyways, next up, we look for some more anomalies on some planets, as that ties into one of our other achievements. Afterwards, we decide to go load up into the Krogan recruitment mission, because we had one in the last game. Why shouldn't we have another one in this game? So we load in with Miranda and Garrus, and we start the mission. We bring Miranda with us because she still has an ability that is good for breaking barriers, and we still have yet to get that achievement. So as we're making our way through this battle-torn area, we find some Blue Sun troopers, who are one of the many other groups that we fight of the 3 main. We destroy them, we kill them, we do the usual stuff. And we run into a wounded one, who we use our intimidation to give his team a bunch of incorrect information of where to go, leading them into a trap, which I assume probably helps us later down the line for this mission. I'm not sure. It could just be a fun little side tangent. but it was fun. We go down further and we are met with more Blue Sun troopers, of course, and a random Krogan who happens to be there. He doesn't really want to fight us. He doesn't really care about us. He's one of the tank-bred Krogan that are on this planet, because that is what we're here for. Okir. He is making a bunch of different Krogan for quote-unquote one of the other Blue Sun people, but he really doesn't care about her. He's making them for himself. He's working on a cure for the genophage. They're getting some help to go further into the facility from the Krogan. We are met with more and more different troopers. And at one moment it seemed like they were just infinitely spawning, which was weird because I kept dying and they just wouldn't stop respawning, so I used my invisibility movement ability to continue to just run past them without having to fight all of them. So we continue on our way to meet up with Okir's lab, but not before we meet a familiar face from Vermeer in the first game. That random scientist who we tell leave because we're blowing up this station, and so we pretty tell her we're not here to do the same thing, but she might want to leave because we might end up blowing the stuff up as well. We're finally meeting up with Okir. We are shortly cut from this conversation as Jinore is trying to fill the room with poisonous gas, so we are sent to go deal with her. She has numerous Krogans that spawn, a giant mech, plus herself. Thankfully, for some reason, on the second attempt of this, the mech got stuck and wouldn't move anywhere. So after we took out her, as well as the little Krogans, no one else spawned, so we were free to take down the Krogan, take down the giant mech. Afterwards, we head back up. Okir is unfortunately dead at this point, but we tell the Normandy to prepare a shuttle as we're going to be bringing this tank back up with us that has a Krogan in it.
It may not be wise.
When we get back onto the Normandy, we have a small cutscene between us, Miranda, and Jacob, where Jacob says one thing and that's pretty much it, but the gist of the conversation is Miranda is very unsure of having a lab-bred Krogan on our team because he's lab-bred. He's probably only made for battle and that's all he will ever understand, but we make the decision to keep him and go awaken him. We have a quick little skerfuffle with him, but that's about it, and he joins our crew. So afterwards, we decide to go do the Jack recruitment mission. So we land on this giant prison ship where essentially these guys, they go and collect these really bad criminals from planets, and the way that they keep this station afloat is the people of the planets that they're from, the home planets of these criminals, they pay them to keep them here. If they don't pay, they'll just, send them back to their planets on accident. So there's no harm and no foul on that part. We follow him for a bit. He sends us into this one room, which obviously leads into a trap. In the trap, we are then forced to go deal with more of these troopers, and eventually we find Jack. She has now caused a station-wide panic with everything exploding and everything, because she's a powerful biotic that they have had contained very securely so that she can't do anything. Eventually we make our way through this facility, making our way back towards the exit. Jack is there. We convince her to join our team, and now we have Jack on our team. Her and Miranda don't get along too well, but that's fine. That's a problem for later. Afterwards, we are going around talking to the crew, and we get an urgent call from the Elusive Man. This is going to be one of the but this is one of the forced missions that the game makes you do, and you can't do anything else otherwise. You can't go and look at the map when the call comes in. You have to go do this mission, otherwise you're stuck on the ship. So we go and talk to him. He's sending us to one of the human colonies on Horizon because they have signs that they're about to be attacked. So now we need to go and see what's up. We go talk with Morden for a little bit, and then we head out on our mission. When landing on Horizon, we are met with a familiar face during a cutscene. It's Ashley. Since she survived, she's the person we see here. If Caden hadn't survived, he'd be the face we see here. Upon regaining control of our character, we are met with the Collectors for the first time. And they have barriers, which is good that I brought Miranda for this mission, because she has the warp ability which breaks barriers, which is what I need for the one achievement. So we go through killing more and more Collectors until we are eventually met with a mechanic who's here complaining about Ashley, because he's not too fond of Ashley. So we have to go deal with them, as well as turning on the defense system back for the turrets, because they sent Ashley here to get these turrets set up for defense, but they're not working as of right now, so we have to go to this relay point to activate them. It wouldn't be a Mass Effect game if, when trying to wait for something to charge up to 100%, that we have to clear out waves and waves of enemies. As we're doing that, we're met with a new enemy type, a flying Praetorian. What the fuck is it called? Praetorian. We're met with a Praetorian. It's this flying kind of creature that's lasers that shoot from its eyes, as well as a ability to ground slam and take a lot of damage to your health, as well as gains barriers. I'm not exactly sure all the mechanics of how it gains barriers. It seems like every time it ground slams into the ground, it gains new barriers, so you might want to stay far away from it. Other than the barrier, it has armor, which is fine because my one ability is good against armor. After defeating the prayer, whatever the fuck it's called, I already forget it. We're then met with the mechanic again, who finds out our name, and then we get to have a nice little face-to-face reunion with Ashley. She's not too fond that we have not contacted her for the last 2 years, considering we've been dead though, but that's besides the point. She's also not too happy that we work with Cerberus, because she may be a little racist, and she admits this. She doesn't like other alien races. She says this. But she's not too fond of what Cerberus does with other races as well, since Cerberus is all about preserving humanity, and they don't really care what happens with other species. They just want humanity to be the best and strive the best. After that, we do meet up back with the elusive man. He tells us that we are given more dossiers from more people because we've gained all the people that we get. So now, after this, we have to go grab the rest of our crew. And that is all of day 10. Today, we gained 7 achievements. On day 11, we decided to go do Zaid's loyalty mission. This mission has us going to an old refinery that is being overtaken by the Blue Suns and an old comrade of Zaid. We find out that 20 years ago, him and his comrade founded the Blue Suns. But at some point, he got betrayed by his companion and shot in the face. For instance, that's why his eye looks the way it does. So we make our way through killing enemies, and we run into both his old companion as well as some more of the mercenaries. Zaid does a really cool thing where he shoots a tank, and it just kind of, he's like, oh, you missed, and then it explodes, and he's like, ah, shit. Shepard doesn't really like that too much, but Zaid's like, listen, I want him dead, you're here to help, that's it. Shortly after we clear out some more waves of enemies, we do have to make the decision to allow the workers here to die, otherwise we will not get Zaid's loyalty, which is kind of weird, but hey, I need his loyalty for the achievements, so that's what we do. We eventually catch back up with Vito, his associate, and one of probably the most badass scenes in the game, he just burns this guy alive. He shoots, I believe it's an oil tank or something, then he gets rid of his thermal clip, which is the ammo for the game, and it just sets him afire, sets him ablaze. It was actually really cool. Afterwards, we do go exploring a couple more planets, looking for more anomalies for that same achievement, so we can hurry up and get that one. Afterwards, we land on Ilium, where we are met with 2 familiar faces really back to back. We meet somebody who's being controlled, or at least partially controlled, by the Arachne Queen back from Mass Effect 1, because we allowed her to live. So she's here just telling us thank you, and that they will be there to help us fight when the time comes. We don't really know much more about that as of right now, but that was actually pretty cool. And I was quite confused. I was like, we met a lot of people on that planet. Who could they possibly be referencing? And when they started going more into the conversation, I was like, oh, it's the Arachne Queen. That's pretty cool. Then we're actually met with Gianna again. She has us go talk to this person who is selling illegal tech, and eventually we trick her into being like, yeah, I got some more stuff in the back. I can give it to you for cheap. Then she shows up and helps and arrests her. God, sorry, there's something in my eye. Afterwards, we do meet up with Liara again. She's on this planet. She's working as sort of like a person with a lot of connections. She does a lot of like behind the scenes work and does a lot of stuff. I do get really giddy when I see them reunite with each other, because I worked so hard to get them back together, or to get them together in the first place in the first game. It wasn't really that hard, but it was just seeing them like, you know, happy together. They snuggled, they did a little kiss, which looked a little goofy because my Shepard was wearing a helmet. But no, it was really nice. I got really excited to see them back together. She's not the only reason we're here. We have Liara's or Miranda's mission to do, plus a couple of extra associates we can get while we're here. We do a couple bit more bullying of people to get what we want. We also call someone racist because we have a slave trader, and she's trying to get rid of this one person who's a Quarian, but this other person will take her because she's a Quarian, and we're like, oh, so you're racist. You won't take her because she's a Quarian, no? But that was fun. Then we end up starting Miranda's mission. Her mission pretty much was her genetically made twin sister was in danger of being captured, essentially. Her father, we learned, really only raised Miranda and had her made to be a superior biotic type person. She has a twin sister who is 19, I think he said. Miranda, when she was younger, she saved her, she took her, and she brought her somewhere else. So her sister has no idea about any of this extra stuff. But she's in danger of being captured, so we have to go and help. Upon starting the mission, we bring Miranda and Jack together because they hate each other, and I have a very good time bringing them together because they don't like each other at all. They usually bicker back and forth, which is really fun for me. We meet up with some Eclipse troopers who were like, oh, they're not going to attack us because they want to take Miranda, essentially. They threaten to kill us if we don't comply, and we do some fun, like, we repay them. We repay them with these nice kind words they gave us, with some explosions and a swift neck snapping. After making through waves and waves of enemies, we meet up with a cutscene of Niket, Miranda's old companion, who helped her escape, as well as when they helped Miranda's sister escape. We stopped Miranda from killing him because even though she may have betrayed him here, that wouldn't have done much, but that didn't stop much because the captain and Yala, I think is how you pronounce her name, she quickly kills him, and we were then forced to fight her. Pretty much the mission. We do have a nice little cutscene where we tell Miranda to go and talk to her sister, even though she probably has no idea who she is. It would still be nice to have a little bit of dialogue between them. So we quickly just let that happen. We don't actually get to see the conversation, we just send her off, and then she comes back, and then the mission's done. Afterwards, we go do some of the side missions that Liara gave us, and then we get ready to go recruit more of our companions. First up is Thane, an assassin. The guard who helps us get there flies us over to the towers, and we quickly make our way up the tower to try and find where Thane is. Blasting our way through more Eclipse mercenaries, as well as just helping some Solarians that are still stuck in the tower. We do get a fun little cutscene of us meeting up with a mercenary who's all by himself and continuing our bully streak to threaten to throw him out of this window unless he tells us where we need to go. So eventually we do catch up to our target's target, Nisana, who just so happens to be the sister of Dahlia, someone we killed back in the first game. I don't quite remember what all that mission was about, but it was fun to see that a lot of the stuff from the first game has so far transferred over to the second game, and even if it's in like a minor throwaway joke, not joke, but a minor way, it still shows up some, which is pretty cool. After having a short conversation with Nisana, Thane shows up and kills her. We tell him about our mission, and he joins our crew. When we arrive back onto the Normandy, we go around grabbing some more loyalty missions as they've now been unlocked. And we do another anomaly mission as well for one of the planets. Afterwards, we load up to Jacob's loyalty mission, which sees us going to a distress beacon from his father's ship that crashed 10 years ago, which is now active, which is very unsettling for Jacob, so he would like to go investigate. We show up, there's a VI discussing what happened, everything happened 10 years ago, and that his father is now like acting commander, because that's not what he was when he was initially on the trip. As we continue down this foresty planet, we meet up with a very insane sounding woman talking about the sky people are here, the sky people are here. Then we are met with some male versions of them where they're also insane, but they're trying to kill us. So we take them out, we keep going, we find some mechs as well. We find a village of just all females, which they all say Jacob looks like his father. They say it looks like the commander or whoever they're worshipping at the moment. And so we're like, oh, that's probably not good. So we go through, clear out some more mechs, and we then meet up with her. We have a nice little cutscene with Jacob's dad. We do get some more loyalty missions around the ship, and then we are forced into our second force mission, going to a collector ship. We started up, but it is really difficult for me, and I'm already very tired. So I end up not even finishing this mission on the stream. We end stream, and we decided we're going to save it for another day. Today we got only 4 achievements. On day 12, we load up where we left off on day 11, on the collector ship. This mission took me 2 hours to beat, so by the end of it, I was very, very, very frustrated. So basically, we learned in this mission that the collectors are actually genetically modified Protheans from the first game that we thought were extinct and no longer existed, but turns out that the Reapers modified them to turn them into the collectors to make them subservient to the Reapers so that they would do everything they needed. At one point, we earn the ability to unlock to be able to use an assault rifle, a shotgun, or get a big upgrade to our sniper. At first, I did pick the assault rifle, but it didn't seem very useful at the time, so I ended up just getting the sniper rifle improvement. We learned that this is actually the same collector ship that attacked us 2 years ago that destroyed the first Normandy. We also brought Groton and Miranda with us during this mission, but they served literally no purpose other than to waste all of my meta gel and to constantly die. So that was fun. We end up just keep going and going. We clear out through multiple waves of different enemies. We deal another one of those flying monsters over from Horizon, and then we eventually escape. We do learn that this was a trap and that the elusive men more than likely knew that, but there was no other way for us to get information on the collectors. Afterwards, we do have an angry mission. Afterwards, we do have an angry discussion with the elusive man about this, but then we just go and continue to get more allies. Next up on the list is Samara, another Asari. Since we don't have Liara in this game, we need someone to replace her, but we can never replace our girl because she is the best. Samara is this very strong, so almost like how we are the Spectres, the Asaris have their own type of thing similar to that. That's not the same as the Spectres, but it's very similar. She does her own thing. We can't have her on her ship yet, on our team yet, because she's got her own mission, so we have to help her do her mission in order to unlock her for our mission. Essentially, Samara is looking for a ship that is smuggling someone off planet. So we go and speak with one of those funny little guys from the first game, the Volus, who speak like nerds and have to breathe funny, which is very funny to me still. We then get the name, so then we go through, clear more enemies, find out where that ship is going, and go us back to speaking with Samara, and she officially joins our group. Afterwards, we do load up our final mission for Tali. We saved her for last. She is the only, besides Garrus, returning teammate from the first game. Garrus and Tali, those two have returned to us, but we do still get to see our other teammates later down the line. Tali is sent with her team onto a planet to investigate some Geth activity. When we get there, we learn that the sun is very dangerous. Standing in it for even a second starts to deplete our shield. So, in order to retroact that, we have to stay in the shadows as much as possible. In doing so, eventually we meet up, taking out Geth along the way. We meet up with one of her teammates. We meet up with Calringer. He is a Quarren who's trying to hold the line. As Tali is barricaded in this room, as she's getting more information, he's doing his best to distract the Geth from going to her as much as possible. It takes us a few tries, but eventually we clear out the Geth, including one of those really big guys from the first game. I forget what they're called, but we eventually take it out, get to Tali. We recruit her safely, and now we have every member of our crew, minus this mysterious guy who we don't really know where he is just yet. Afterwards, we do load up Tali's loyalty mission. We bring Miranda and Tali with us while we do this mission. The mission essentially is Tali is being put on trial by the Quarian board for sending active Geth technology to her father to investigate. While Tali denies these claims, the station that her father and other Quarians are working on is now out of service and being overrun by Geth. So we are sent to go investigate, to go find out what has happened. Why did the Geth suddenly become active when Tali claims that she set all inactive or destroyed parts? After combing our way through the facility, we do find her dead body, unfortunately, but we do find out that it was her father and the people working at the station that were activating the Geth to try and learn to control them better for themselves. Tali would like us to not disclose this to the board so that her father's legacy remains intact. When we get back, we are able to respect her wishes, which is what we need to do in order to get her loyalty, by bullying them, which also allows her to be acquitted from all charges. If we had picked that no, just a simple no, we are not going to have any, we're not going to show that her father did it. And so then Tali would end up being charged as guilty and she'd be banished from her homeworld. But picking the renegade option, she's not charged and we respect her wishes. After we end up doing Garrus' loyalty mission, we decided to do both our old comrades missions very shortly after each other. In order to get this mission started, we do need to go walk around a bit, trigger a cutscene, and we do get a friendly reminder of the one from the first game that we interacted with, Harkin. He turns out to be this operator who can just kind of make people disappear, get them out of planet without anybody knowing where they're going. We find out who it is, we eventually make our way through a bunch of different battles until we get two giant mechs, the Ymir mechs, whatever they're called. And that's where I decided, nah, not right now. I'm already tired from doing 2 hours of the other mission. I'm gonna take a break for the day. Today we only got 5 achievements. Day 13 was our longest stream that we've done in a very long time. It was a little over 12 hours, but we did a lot this game. this stream. And I realized as I was typing up scripts for this, I really should be doing these like I did the last video, where I typed them up either right after the stream or right like the next day of. Because doing this now, I just did the last, when I was writing these, I did like the last 4 days of the stream all in one sitting. That sucked, and I also realized I should be doing this, also very similar to that. I should be waiting. So when we look back up into the game, we're obviously still in Garrus's mission. After some cheesy little placements for myself that the mechs could not reach me or damage me. Eventually I take them out, we make our way up, have a quick close call with some little tiny mechs that almost killed me, and if they had, I don't know if I would have been restarted to before I fought the big mechs, but I would have been very pissed off if I had. We eventually make our way back to Harkin. He tells us where Garrus's target is. So we quickly have a little cutscene of that, me distracting him, and Garrus takes him out. So there we go, we got Garrus's mission done. The main objective is to get these loyalty missions done and out of the way so that we all have to worry about them and we can't possibly miss any once we get to the point of no return. Next up, we do Thane's mission. Thane's mission, it really isn't too much of a fighting mission. It was mainly we're trying to save his son from assassinating someone. His son has been given a target to assassinate. So we land back at the Citadel, we speak with Captain Bailey, and he tells us about his son. We don't tell him what his son is trying to do or anything, but he tells us Mouse. Mouse is an informant, so we go and meet up Mouse. We do a little bit of bullying with him as well. We slam him to the floor and step on his neck, which was quite brutal. But he tells us who we're looking for. This man is somewhat of a higher political figure that Captain Bailey and him have somewhat of an agreement with. They take a little bit of bribes from each other, but that's fine. No judgment here. We do a little bad cop, good cop with Thane. More so, I do a lot of bad cop. I beat him up a bunch, and eventually we get the information we need. Who he has paid Thane's son to go assassinate. It's another political figure. So the essential part of this mission is we are following this other figure along the catwalk. And the only way we can possibly fail this mission and not gain Thane's loyalty is if his son ends up killing this guy. So what we do is we're following him along the catwalk and occasionally checking in with Thane to tell him where the location of this guy is. We do have a funny little cutscene with a guy, which I don't know if I got to it too quick or not, but we scare this poor worker who's up in the vents that there's a bomb. It was quite funny. We do eventually meet up with the target of the assassination, and Thane's son is also there. We do successfully stop his son from killing the target, and they have a nice little heart-to-heart moment about where he's gone and everything. We do get Bailey to kind of keep his son as like a extra pair of hands, not officially hire him into like the C-Sec team, but he's just there if he needs help with something. So now we have Thane's loyalty. Next up, we go to Tachanka. There are 2 loyalty missions we can do here. We can do Morden and we can do Grunts. We do Morden's first. So when we land, we have to pick our teammates, and we just go. I should have grabbed Grunt with me on the first run because I can't start his mission or I can't get information about his mission unless Grunt's with me. So eventually we do meet up with our good friend Rex. He is now the leader of this clan, and he tells us to go speak with this other Krogan about Morden's mission. We go back, we grab Grunt on our team, we go speak with him. Essentially Grunt's loyalty mission is he's going through these like thoughts in his head and a lot of negative thoughts. But turns out he just needs to go through puberty. That's pretty much what it is. He's got his rite of passage, which is essentially just puberty. We do Morden's mission first, which is to go rescue a former companion of Morden who worked with him on the cure for the genophage. We do fight a lot of the Blood Pack goons, which is the other third member who I don't think I've really mentioned yet in the video. There's the Eclipse, the Blue Sun, and the Blood Packs. We do eventually meet up with some more Krogans who are very fond of Malon, Morden's companion, and they would love for the genophage to be cured so that they can do exactly what the genophage was made for. Going out and pillaging different societies so they can be the #1 group. We do a very similar thing to what Saeed did during his loyalty missions, and we happen to burn this member alive. We then proceed to continue throughout the thing, and we do have a nice little cutscene of a dead female Krogan, and we get to learn a little bit more insight onto why what Morden did with the genophage feels right to him, and why it doesn't feel wrong. What he did was justified. Someone in chat did point out that it was very good writing that the game decides to give good arguments onto why what Morden did and what he thinks what he did was right, and it wasn't just saying, hey, genophage is bad. I'll leave in the big cutscene of the female Krogan thing, because it was actually really good for world building and lore for Morden's character, as well. It made a lot of good points.
Sterile werelock female willing to risk procedures. Hoped for cure. Pointless. Pointless waste of life.
I didn't expect you to be disturbed by the sight of a dead Krogan.
What? Why? Because of genophage work? Irrelevant. No. Causative. Never experimented on live Krogan. Never killed with medicine. Her death not my work. Only reaction to it. Goal was to stabilize population. Never wanted this. Can see it logically. But still unnecessary. Foolish. Waste of life. Hate to see it.
I didn't think you'd had much direct contact with things like this. Did you come to Tachanka after dropping your plague?
Yearly recon missions. Water, tissue samples. Ensure no mistakes. Superiors offered to carry it on. Refused. Need to see it in person. Need to look. Need to see. Accept it as necessary. See small picture. Remind myself why I run a clinic on Omega. Rest, young mother. Find your gods. Find someplace better.
I didn't expect spirituality from you, Morden.
Genophage modification project altered millions of lives. Then saw results. Ego, humility, juxtaposition, frailty of life, size of universe. Explored religions after work completed. Different races. No answers. Many questions.
Sounds like you were trying to deal with your guilty conscience. The doctor who killed millions.
Modified genophage project great in scope. Scientifically brilliant. But ethically difficult. Krogan reaction visceral, tragic. Not guilty, but responsible. Trained as doctor. Genophage affects fertility. Doesn't kill. Still, caused this. Hard to see big picture behind pile of corpses.
Can you really just rationalize
I just want to see more of his stuff.
How do you justify it?
Wheel of life. Popular Solarian concept. Similar to human Hinduism in focus on reincarnation. Appealing to see life as endless. Fix mistakes in next life. Learn, adapt, improve. Refuse to believe life ends here. Too wasteful. Have more to offer. Mistakes to fix. Cannot end here. Could do so much more.
If you need this much soul searching to get over it, maybe the genophage was wrong.
Had to be done. Rachni wars, Krogan rebellions, all pointed to Krogan aggression. So many simulations. Effects of Krogan population increase, all pointed to war. Extinction. Genophage or genocide. Save galaxy from Krogan. Save Krogan from galaxy.
When you put it that way, you did the right thing. Not many would have the guts to look at the results and own it.
Not easy. Sometimes wish I wasn't as intelligent. Choice would have fallen on someone else. Not my problem. Fool's wish. Had to be me. Others might have gotten it wrong. Ready to go, Shepard.
We do end up meeting up with Malon, and he is, as we thought, he's there by choice. He was not actually captured with what we initially thought was happening. He is there by choice. He wants to work on this cure because he wants chaos, I guess. I don't really quite remember. We do get met with a nice cutscene, and we have to decide to either save the cure data or destroy it. We end up saving it because it does actually take an effect into Mass Effect 3. I don't know what it does, but someone in chat told me that it does affect Mass Effect 3 down the line. And with that, we have finished Morden's loyalty mission. The game obviously boots us back up onto Normandy, but we come back down to start Grunt's mission. Grunt's mission is actually very simple. It was kind of difficult, but not really. What it has to essentially do is you fight 3 waves of enemies. The first one is some of those, like, I think they're called Varens, the little dog-looking guys. Then we have those exploding Barkins. I can't quite remember what they're called. You'll see them on screen. And then we have to fight something that we did not like in the first game, who we tried to avoid as much as possible, a Thresher Moth. Now, this part of the mission isn't necessarily you have to beat it. You just have to survive the 5-minute window that the game gives you. But in order to 100% this game, we do need to take this thing out. Thankfully, it can't destroy a certain pillar in the game, so you go sit there and you can damage it. Garrus got glitched and I couldn't revive him, and no, Garrus died, so I kept running out of his, I couldn't heal him anymore. And Grunt got glitched and he was just kind of sitting in cover and wasn't doing anything. Eventually we take it out, we finish the mission. There was a Krogan earlier in the game who wasn't really too fond that Grunt was doing the rite of passage, since he's a lab-bred Grunt, or a lab-bred Krogan, and doesn't think that he should be allowed to do it. We have to eventually kill him because he's like, ha ha ha, you did it, but I'm gonna kill you. So we kill him and we make our way back, thus gaining us Grunt's loyalty. Next up on the block, we have Samara's loyalty mission. This one's very similar to Thane's loyalty mission, where there's not any combat in it. It's just kind of doing little objectives as your own. Little backstory on this mission. Our target for this is Samara's daughter. She was born with this ability that it's a rare genetic defect that kills their partner when they have like the mind sex, like we did with Liara in the other game. So she's just kind of going around doing that for fun, because why not, I guess. So our mission is to go and stop her and confront her. Now, I just like to say, if I had a nickel for every time we had a mother-daughter scenario with Asaris in Mass Effect, I'd have 2 nickels. It's not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? We look back up into Omega and we speak with Aria. She tells us more information about where we could go, and we end up going, it's very similar, it's very close to where we started in Morgan's recruitment mission. There's an apartment complex, we speak with her daughter's most recent victim, his mom, and we go through a room, we find out information, then we go to the VIP section of Omega's club. We do a couple of little like missions around town by having a little staring contest with a Krogan, beating up this guy who's harassing Nasari, as well as something else that I can't quite remember and I didn't write it down. But that eventually gets her attention. We do the right talking options, we do dialogue the right way, and we are eventually led back to her room. At this point, I do fail the Paragon and Renegade check, but we do successfully still do the mission. Samara kills her daughter, and we are good. The only way you can fail this mission is if Samara's daughter wins, and she just takes over Samara's identity. That way, you would not gain Samara's loyalty, and you would be locked out of that. So thankfully, I thought I was going to be screwed, but we did it successfully. Next up, we've got Jack's mission, and since we brought Jack for Miranda's loyalty mission, it only seemed right to bring Miranda on Jack's, since Miranda also works with Cerberus, and this is a very Cerberus-based mission. Jack was raised in a Cerberus facility to enhance and like train her in her abilities. From what Jack remembers, there was a lot of torture and a lot of inconvenient things where other children got to be not played with, but they got to be free and do what they wanted to, while Jack seemed to be locked in a room all day. As we're wandering through this old abandoned facility, we are met with hostiles, which we of course take out, and Jack starts to learn that not everything was exactly as he remembered. The children were also experimented on in ways to test that what they did Jack wouldn't kill her. We do eventually meet up with another survivor of this facility, and he's trying to rebuild it and recontinue everything. We have Jack kill him. We could probably have not done that, but we did it anyway, because Renegade, it's fun. Then we end up just doing a nice little walk down memory lane with Jack, through all her stuff. We set a bomb that, I don't know what kind of explosives we have on the Normandy, but that shit fucking like levels the entire planet. I was like, if we thought the bomb on Vermeer was big, watching the cutscene for this bomb going off, I was like, what the fuck? What do we have on this ship? Us, we gained Jack's loyalty.
Nothing's changed.
How big of a fucking bomb did you guys use? Jesus Christ.
Our next loyalty mission, as at this point in the game, this happens twice. When you complete both Miranda and Jack's loyalty missions, you have a cutscene of them fighting. If you don't have enough Paragon or Renegade points, you will lose the trust of one of them, but you can quickly go back and talk with them and have a less of a taxing Paragon or Renegade check. But thankfully I had enough points, so I didn't lose any of their loyalties, and I didn't have to go and try and regain it, which was good, because loyalty is really important in the final mission of the game. Instead of starting up another loyalty mission, we actually go and do the Shadow Broker DLC, because that is also tied to an achievement, and it's also the only way that we can romance Liara, which we want to do so that we can go and get her in the third game, so we can get all 3 trophies with Liara. Kind of, but I'll go more into that later. We have some information that we can give Liara, which we did earlier by accident, but just reloaded to save because it kind of locks you out of doing her missions that she gives you on Ilium. But anyways, we start that up, we go to her apartment, and we meet up another Spectre. We haven't seen a Spectre in a while, but this one's an Asari Spectre. She's there casing the environment, so we are sent to look around her apartment for clues onto where she has gone. A lot of it was coded so that only I could activate it, like Shepard himself only could activate the different like clues that led to where she was. We eventually find out where she is, and we head there. When we get there, the building on multiple different levels explodes, which we assume might have killed Liara, which hopefully she didn't die. Tila, our Asari Spectre that came with us, says she'll take the sky car, go from the top, work her way down, while we start at the bottom floor and make our way up.
Could be a problem.
We are met with a new enemy type called the Worker Agents. Big surprise, that's what they're called. We take them out as we go, and we find out that, of course, why would this not happen? Tila is a traitor. She's not just a Spectre, but she's a traitor. I wonder where we've seen that before. Liara shows up and she's like, she's the one who tried to attack me in my apartment. She's the one who just killed my informant. And we go on a car cutscene where we're pretty much chasing her car. There was no real way to lose this cutscene, but it was kind of cool. Now this is something I mentioned earlier in the game. We new to this game is ammo and ammo scarcity. Once we're done with the cutscene, we are met in a parking lot where Tila has hopped off and she's hobbling away, but her car is blocking the way she went. Now we are met with multiple upon multiple upon multiple waves of these enemies. But I have like no ammo at this point, and none of these enemies drop ammo. Not a single one. So I'm stuck with sitting here trying to take out these enemies with pure abilities with my teammates who are constantly dying unless I constantly command them to go to different locations. So that was one of the most frustrating parts of this game, and it almost got even more frustrating because one of the enemies, the last enemy, got glitched under a vehicle that I could not damage with abilities. So I had to go find some modification tool to give myself ammo so I could kill this guy. Otherwise I would have had to restart this section again and do it. So thankfully I was able to get past that, and we go and confront Tila again. This is the first boss fight of this DLC, and it wasn't too difficult. It was just every time I shot her with my sniper, she happened to just do her ability and teleport to another area of the screen, so it really wasn't too hard. And once you got her past a certain health bar, that would be the new save point for if you died, which thankfully only happened a handful of times. We do take her out. We find out where the Shadow Brokers base is. It's a flying fortress in a location that is not very easily accessible. So we do try to talk about our relationship with Liara for a little bit before heading there, but nothing really comes of it because she's really focused on getting to her, possibly where her teammate is, because that's the whole point of this mission. She wants to go kill the Shadow Broker, because her old ally who helped her with my body, I should have mentioned this before, she was the reason why Cerberus got my body. She gave Cerberus my body. Her and her ally, I feel like there's some tension there, but obviously me and her still have this big connection. We end up landing on this sky base, taking out more of the enemies, and then we have a 5-wave rush of enemies that we have to take out, which was also very frustrating. It took me a while to do. Essentially, we respawn in the middle, enemies spawn here, then they spawn here. Then we have a wave in the front of rocket troops, which are very hard to kill, and then again the enemies spawn here, and then they spawn here. But the thing is, there's hardly any cover, and of course the allies, like I've been saying this whole game, suck ass, and they don't know what they're doing, so we had to take them out. Eventually we do get past it and we move further. We find her ally strapped to a big chair. We can't just simply take him out of the chair, otherwise he will get electrocuted to death. So we are confronted with the Shadow Broker. We have to kill him in order to turn off the controls for that. Now this was an interesting fight, as we take him out for the first time, and then he activates a shield which can't be hurt with bullets. So in order to do more damage to him, we have to go up physically give him the hands. And that was actually kind of cool. On the third attempt, after you do it, Liara throws a bunch of electrical water that's floating above him, and that burns him to a crisp. Hence, he is now dead. We free our teammate, and through a nice little cutscene, Liara becomes the new Shadow Broker, which is really cool, because I hope that actually has an effect in Mass Effect 3. I assume it does, but I have no idea. Thus, this completes our DLC mission. We unlock the trophy, or the achievement, and we do a little bit more dialogue options with Liara to make sure we have locked her in for our romance option in this game, which will then tie into the third game. Following similar to what we just did, we did another DLC mission as they decided to do the achievement. This one wasn't super eventful. This Project Overlord, essentially, this rogue VI has merged with Geth technology and is sending them to attack this one base. We think we cleared out by taking out a giant satellite, which is actually really cool. But we have to go to where he's stationed. So we get there, and it turns out that the person who gave us this mission is really the cause behind all this, because he tried to merge his brother's mind with the Geth systems, which he only really did because his brother is autistic, and the way his brain works made him really compatible with the Geth, and it kind of sucked. It was really sad seeing his brother in a state of constant pain and stuff, which you can sort of tell throughout the game. We'll get bursts as you complete certain objectives throughout the mission. You'll get kind of these loud, annoying screeches from the VI, but you can tell they're kind of in pain when he's doing this. So eventually, once you beat him, we save him and we complete that mission. We do send the brother to a facility where they can hopefully help him and recover from this trauma, and we threaten the other brother with death if he ever tries to come near his brother again. We do a couple more side missions along the way, trying to get the anomaly achievement if I haven't already gotten it at this point. And then we do, I believe it's another DLC mission. I didn't expect it to be this long, but it was one that we gained when we went back to our captain's quarters and a while back ago. And one of the Alliance members asked us to go save this doctor from a Batarian prison. We go and do that. This is a mission he wants us to do alone because it's kind of a top secret thing. So that's one of the reasons why this mission sucked ass. So we save her, we go back to where she was initially stationed with her other team. They have some Reaper artifact that is telling them that the Reapers are coming within days of when they get there. When we get back to the station, they're coming in days. This is another one that there used to be an achievement for, actually, that I looked up. Once you get there, they've been indoctrinated, similar to how Satan was, but they've been indoctrinated into letting this happen. Because we were like, all right, we need to stop this. But we get thrust into a big wave survival thing, but we don't survive. We quickly get annihilated. And like I said just moments ago, there was an achievement for this at one point, but that got removed, I guess, in the Legendary Edition. I'm not complaining because I really didn't want to sit there and deal with that. We wake up in a prison cell, and we have a fun little mechanic where we get to control one of the little mechs, and we have to free ourselves with it, which is pretty cool. I enjoyed it. We do decide that we have to blow up this the relays that we use to travel between different systems. We have to blow it up, otherwise the Reapers are going to show up within minutes or hours. I can't quite remember, but the indoctrinated doctor that we saved is not having any of that. She'd rather blow up the entire asteroid than allow that happen. Blow a station up that's on the asteroid. The station is on an asteroid, and she'd rather blow up the entire asteroid and everybody on it than allow it to blow up the mass relay. But blowing up the mass relay doesn't just come with saving people from getting the Reapers. The amount of force that these mass relays have is insane. It will destroy the entire system that is connected to it. We lose over, I think, in the hundreds of thousands of Batarians get lost. We eventually stop her from blowing up the ship, or the station, and the asteroid. We watch it crash into the mass relay, and unfortunately a lot of lives are lost, but it is necessary to stop the Reapers from coming. That was the last thing we did in the stream because I wanted to save the final set of missions for the next day when I was fully rested and had more energy. We got 11 achievements today. That was the most we've gotten in any of the streams.
Damn. I wouldn't need anything from that area. Hey.
Day 14, everybody. Final day of the challenge. When we load up the game, we started doing another one of the DLC missions that's available to us, but quickly realized I'm not going to enjoy doing this. So we just say screw that and continue on. This is where we start the IFF, the point of no return mission. We have to go back onto another collector ship, select a device that will allow us to travel through the Omega 4 relay and into the collector home base. This is the point of no return where I'll go into it in a little bit, but this is where
the Reaper's Mass Effect fields are still active.
if you have not done any loyalty missions, you're screwed. When landing on the other collector ship, we run into a bunch of husks and abominations, and eventually we get into a room where it looks like there's a rogue Geth helping us. He's sniping them from afar and taking them out as we go, but we don't get any dialogue. He knows who we are, but we don't know who they are. So we continue on. I'm just using my stealth ability to make my way through this because I'm quickly trying to get through this part of the game. We get to the end, we do die, but then we load back in really close to the exit. So we take out those enemies blocking the door, and we continue. We're then met with the thing we came here for, the Reaper IFF. We take it and go into the next room, or remember the cutscene of this strange Geth device attempting to shut down the Reaper core, which is what we're here for. Now, in this part, it wasn't too hard. It was just a lot of looping the abominations and husks in a circle, waiting for the core to open up so I could shoot it, and eventually we take it out and we leave. We bring the Reaper device, we bring the Geth with us back on board. We have a discussion amongst everybody deciding whether we should keep it, or we should activate it, or what should we do. We do end up activating it and keeping it, gaining us our final companion, who we now decide to call Legion, because all Geth are essentially one being. There is no individual Geth, they all are one collective mind. We also go and get his loyalty mission. We have to do his loyalty mission now, or we will be facing consequences later, so we go and do that. Essentially what our mission here is to send out a virus that will destroy all of the Geth that have been under the influence of the Reapers. Since they all hatched one shared mind, when they got affected with this virus, they now believe in whatever the Reapers tell them to do. So now there's two separate factions of the Geth and these Geth. So our objective is to go and send out a virus that will kill all these infected Geth. But halfway through, Legion tells us we can actually change it and reset their memory so they all now believe in the same thing once again. So, of course, once we click through multiple different waves and withstand a one of those missions where you just kind of sit and you hold down a spot for a minute, we do it successfully and we reset everybody, because I think this affects us further down the line in the next game. We then make a quick daring escape from the ship, and that's it. We've gained all 12 companions and their loyalty missions. And this is the second thing of the instance I brought up before. Similar to Miranda and Jack, now we have Tali and Legion having an argument, because Tali finds Legion scanning Tali's Omni tool and start information that is very secure and private. Tali is not very happy with this because she's afraid that Legion is going to share this information with the Geth, since they have had battles many times between Tali's Aquarians and the Geth. We do have enough points to successfully Paragon our way out of it, I believe. But after that, we are able to quickly start the next mission, the final mission. But before we can actually do that, we are met with a cutscene of unfortunate events. I'll let it play out for you. That's right. The collectors have now boarded our ship because the IFF that we collected was giving them our signal and our location. So now, for better words, they are now coming and collecting our crew. All of us had seemingly taken a shuttle trip off the Normandy for some reason. So I don't know what I was trying to say there, but yes, they are now gone. So now none of our direct companions are in danger. We are given control of Joker. We have to hobble around the ship, making our way to allow Edie, the AI of the ship, to do what she needs to do. And eventually she purges everything who's gone and gets the ship cleared. We wake back up with Joker, speaking with Miranda and Shepard about what just happened. And then that's it. This is the point of no return. We've already hit it, so now we have to go finish the mission. We do get a nice cutscene of Shepard back up in his quarters, looking at a picture of Liara, remembering what all this is for. I mentioned this before, but since we locked that happened because we locked in with Liara during the Shadowbroker DLC, but this doesn't actually count towards the achievement. So I had to do a quick little save edit and make it so that I romance Tali throughout the games, and then we still get to see some fun things. So here.
I've taken some antibiotics.
It's text time, boys.
I was going to bring music, but I didn't know what you'd like. And
There it goes. That's stupid. That's genuinely stupid.
I want this to work. I thought it over. I've minimized the risks, but I'm still nervous, and that always makes me talk too much. It's a defense mechanism, and it's stupid, and people who just see the helmet can't see my expression, so I have to make it clear what I'm feeling.
Her love scene, we get the achievement, and we're good. I go back to the other save, so Liara is still my choice for the third game. I haven't mentioned it before, but the ship does have upgrades as well that you have to get, because 3 of these in particular are very important to the game. If you do not get them, some of your crewmates, your companions, will die before you even start the final mission, like on the ground. But thankfully we got all 3 parts that we needed, and we eventually crash land on the ship, but their systems never really expected another ship to land on them, so they don't really know we're here. Upon landing, we have to select our crew. We send Tali to go do the vent system because she's our tech expert, and we send Garrus to go lead the secondary team with everybody except the 2 people we take with us. So we're doing this, and as we're doing this, we happen to have a timer in the bottom, which is telling us that the heat of the vents that Tali's in is constantly getting hotter, and we have to constantly go and release the pressure so she won't die. Eventually we get through this part, we get through the doors that she has to open, and we all meet back up. We find our crew that was abducted. Thankfully they're all still alive because we didn't do anything extra after the Reaper IFF mission. If we had done anything extra, the crew slowly would have started to die. At this point we have to separate our teams again. We need a biotic person to give us a shield while we traverse through the swarms that are on this planet. Not this planet, the ship. Then we need another secondary leader, so we send Garrus again because he did such a good time. And then we need to send somebody to take the survivors back to the Normandy. We send Morden, as he's a doctor, and we'd love to see how these people survived, I assume. So we send him, and everything's good. They make it back. We get to the final stretch of the game, where we now have to select 2 more people to take us with the final little stretch of the game. We bring Miranda, and we bring Thane. On our way to the final part of the game, we already met with more of those floating tile section things from the collectorship mission before, which gave me slight PTSD because I really did not have a fun time doing that mission. But eventually we get there, and what we find is absolutely insane. And that's right, it is a Reaper human larva. It is some giant skeleton-looking thing that is both Reaper and human. We take out waves of enemies as we also wait for openings on the injector tubes to open up, so we shoot those. It falls down, we assume it's dead. We start to rig the ship to explode, not before Luciman tells us, hey, don't destroy the ship, let's take that thing and bring it back with us so we can inspect it. But I'm like, no, this thing is, excuse me, this thing is an abomination, absolutely not. So we then blow it up, but not before we have to actually kill it ourselves. It shows back up, We have to shoot his weak points, and then we escape, causing the tiles that we're all on to start to blow up. We wake back up, unconscious, minutes, maybe seconds even, before the ship is exploding. So we all run, we have a nice little cutscene. Joker's even there to help us out, shooting away. We get on the ship, and that's it. The game's done. We popped the last couple of achievements, and there we go. 100% done with Mass Effect 2 on one single run. Mass Effect 2 still holds up to what I remembered as a kid. There was a lot of things that I don't remember, but that's mainly because it was probably like 10 plus years ago that I played this game for the first time, and there was a lot of stuff that was in it that I didn't know about, like the 2 DLC characters plus the DLCs in general. I'd never played those before. There were still a lot of things that gave me issues. Essentially, the AI felt even worse than the first game. The metagel system I did not enjoy, and the ammo system was even worse, mainly due to that one scene during the Shadowbroker DLC. That was absolutely pitiful. I hated that. I think the ammo system is still relevant in 3. I don't remember. We'll find out when we start those streams. Overall, I do give this game, I would say, an 8 out of 10, similar to Mass Effect 1. I still really enjoyed playing it, even though there was a lot of frustrating moments in it, but I still really had fun playing it. But that's it. We did it. That's the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think of this format with me here standing over the video. I'm trying it differently because rewatching the first video, I could tell my voice was very plain and very monotone, I'm gonna say. But I'm trying it this way. I may sound a little sick, but that's because I am. I really wanted to get this video out before, or we wanted to get it up on the Wednesday before it came out, but it's gonna go up hopefully Friday, today, whenever you're watching it. But yes, thank you guys if you enjoyed. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, comment any games you want me to 100%. I have the next 2 games I'm going to be doing, hopefully before Monster Hunter comes out. I do have that MMO video I want to get out. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Remember, you guys are awesome. Just who you are. Bye guys.